Good morning. We are live. Happy Thursday morning. Hope you guys are having the best Thursday morning ever of all time of your whole life. Let's get it done today, baby. We are 4 minutes, 40 seconds out here. You are looking at a 5-minute chart on Nasdaq. That is NQ. This is the December futures contract for NQ. I repeat, the 5-minute chart. We are 24 and a half minutes out from the best time of the day, the opening bell. Let's get it done. Let's get it done today. ATR pre-market sitting pretty low, a little lower than we saw yesterday this time of day by about 3 points. Yesterday we were up in the 12s. Today we're down in the 9s. That's all right. Doesn't mean anything at all as far as what the open's going to look like. We are essentially pressing into all-time highs. Very close to doing so. Of course, S-tier level of 25,000 is always on the table. So we're going to keep an eye out for 25K and see what's up down there. But that is 330 points away. So hopefully we'll just pull away from there and be able to take trades all day without having to worry about that as a magnet like 20,000 was 4 or 5 months ago. Good morning, guys. How we doing? Kevin, Chuck, good to see you guys. Giovanni, Joe, good morning. Rose, how we doing? KC, Juice Man, what's up, big dog? How we doing? Corey, good to see you. All right. We've got work to do. Hey, John, how we doing? Michael, Matthew, what's up, guys? Will, how we doing? Skeeto! Raiden, what's up? All right. All right, let's let all the regulars show up. And we'll let the opening bell come in. If there's a trade before then, again, I'm not against taking it. But it needs to be within reason that I expect, we'll probably be flat by the opening bell. Because what you might ask, well, if you take a trade pre-market and it hasn't resolved, meaning hit stop or take profit before the bell, what do? I flatten. Because to me, if we're coming into a news event or any event, the 250 algorithm, 350 algorithm on the East Coast, the opening bell, things like that, to me, there's no edge at all. I think very few people actually have edge. Anyone that has edge on the opening bell, honestly, you could say, oh, well, institutions have edge on everything. No, they don't. No, they don't. Why do you think they have to hire so many quants to try to run the data and figure this shit out? I think having edge on the opening bell is probably one of the least likely times to have it. So we would flatten, no matter where we are in the trade, and I would have to make a note on that trade in my data. So I don't want to put myself in that position if we don't have to. Again, ATR relatively low, creeping up here about 10.5 pre-market on the 5-minute chart on NQ. Rose, big birthday dog. What's up, brother? Manuel, good morning. Hey, Ed, how we doing? All right. Okay, now as far as news today, Trump is hosting, now this is all Central Time, okay, so adjust. By the way, a big thing, wherever you are in the world, or wherever you happen to be, one of the best things you can do is learn time zones like the back of your hand. So if someone says, oh, 6 a.m. Pacific, instantly you know what that means for you. 1 p.m. Eastern, instantly you know what that means for you, okay? So the following times are central. 10 a.m., Trump is hosting a cabinet meeting. We have a Fed speaker at 11:45. We have two Fed speakers. Kashkari's joining in at noon. That's kind of about it as far as like actual active trading hours. So, I don't know. We'll keep an eye out at 10 o'clock, but, you know, Trump hosting a cabinet meeting. We'll see if we get some kind of crazy headline, but I'm not going to count on it. So kind of a slow news day, which is totally cool. As long as we can get volatility going in the market, I'm happy. Having too much news is, of course, not ideal. A lot of hurdles during the day. Trev, good morning, big man. How we doing? Hey, Knight, good morning. All right. We are about 28 minutes out. I'm sorry, 18 minutes out. Even better. From that opening bell. Now, if the market were open, if this guy were to close down here, someone might say continuation, right? According to RAM, continuation, right? Well, no. Whether it's pre-market or after the bell, no. The answer to that question for me is no. If anything, this right here is not really a setup that I would probably take in most cases. You know, I say most cases because you're like, well, is it yes or no? I don't know, right? Because every setup's going to look a little different. So there's nuance to this. But if this guy were to come down and close like here, and you're like, Nico, you have to do something. What are you doing? I'm not going to short it. I'm going to bet against the breakout, bet on the range, and buy it. And that is according to RAM, because pillar number one within RAM is context. Context is so important. It changes. You can look at the exact same setup in some cases and do the opposite thing. Not in every case. In some cases, you can look at the exact same setup, and if the context is flipped, you can do the opposite. In a continuation setup, if this guy were to close down here, stop limit sell, look to get short. What's the context here? Very obvious range. Very obvious range. So I would have to do the opposite. Not that I necessarily would, but remember you said I had to do something. I would buy it. So let's clean this guy up. Get a fresh look. All right, looks like the bears are going to try to close it kind of down near the low end of that little range. But that's not quality as far as I'm concerned, especially 15 minutes out from the bell with an ATR of 9.5. But if you force me to do something, that's what I would do. All right. Now, we'll see what ATR is off the rip. First few 5-minute bars. If it's bigger, I think I'll probably trade an average of maybe, well, it's going to depend on the account size, right? But let's say like 50K accounts, just because I think that that's the baseline for most people. When volatility is a bit higher, meaning ATR is like 30 plus, I'll trade maybe 3 micros per account. Just because I find, for me, with my style, that ends up on average putting me in payout territory that I like at around the 8-day mark on average. Okay, which is at Apex, how many days in between the first, I think 6 payouts. And then, well, yeah, I think that, yeah, Apex is 6. So, as far as capped, right? If volatility is less than 30, then I'll back off to either 3 or 4, usually 3 micros in a 50K. I'm sorry, raise up to 5, from 4 to 5 if it's under 30. I'll go from maybe 4, maybe 5. And then above 30, I'll go like 3 micros. That seems to be about right per 50K count for me. Now you go to 150Ks, 250Ks, 300s, then that gets a little more up to you. In the 150Ks, for example, let me see here. My baseline becomes 5 micros for higher volatility. And I might push that up to a mini in lower volatility. So I know I get a lot of questions about that. There you go. And a lot of you guys are like, that's kind of small. Yeah, we scale horizontally, remember? We used to talk about this all the time. Vertical scaling, I don't think, is the way to do this. Horizontal scaling is the way to go in trade and prop. 100%. All right, we're about 10 minutes out here. ATR on the 5-minute still sitting a little lower than yesterday, but creeping up to 10.8. Dips and peaks. Good to see you, big dog. Good morning. All right, so we've got the finish up of this 5-minute bar and then the next 5-minute bar, and then we've got the bell. Now, again, if you are just joining us, news today is, there's not a whole hell of a lot. I mean, at 10 o'clock Central, again, Trump is hosting a cabinet meeting. We have a couple of Fed speakers heading into noon, 11:45 and noon. That's kind of about it, at least from morning through midday. So we're free to do as we please. You see this? See this? Remember what we talked about? Range, right? A lot of people would look at this and say, RAM, put a stop limit sell below it. You wouldn't have gotten a fill. But no, because this trading range is so obvious. ATR is small. You really expect this thing to all of a sudden just make a 40-point push? Look, the average range is 10 on a 5-minute bar. So either you're just going to be wrong and it's going to respect the range, which like 70-80% of the time is actually what's going to happen, or you're going to be waiting for the trade to break not only the low, but then fulfill your target, probably for at least 20 minutes on average, like minimum. So again, the close of this bar, I said it while this bar was still open. If you're like, not a trade I would necessarily take, it's not that high of quality, but you're like, Nico, you have to do something. I have to buy that. And if the bottom falls out, I manage my risk here. Big deal. Right? You lose fucking 6 points. Again, not a trade that I would put on all the time, but if you're forcing me to do something, bet on the range. Context. Within RAM, the number one pillar is context. It drives every decision you make. Stealth, good morning. Okay, Josh, this is a pretty good question. How far back you looking to define context? There's no rule. You're overthinking it, Josh. As much as you're like, I'm overthinking it, what do you mean? There has to be like, how many bars? No, I mean, context changes. Like, listen, guys, like everything in life, if you do something in context, you're fine. Everything's cool. It's gonna work. And if you do or say something in the wrong context, you're gonna get in trouble. The market is no different. All this is a visual representation and a real price representation of human emotion and psychology. that gets fed upon by algorithms that were programmed to profit off of the self-fulfilling prophecy of human psychology, right? There's no magic here. It's just people doing things and algorithms doing them faster. The same things faster, more often, in higher volumes. So you look as far back as you need to. Now, usually it's going to be more than like 1 or 2 bars, obviously. In this case, again, I cannot stress this enough. You need to not overthink this. Look at the fucking chart, right? What would I call this? Well, you could call this, if you go way back, you could call this maybe a little ascending bull channel, but oh wait, you would actually have to call it a wedge because there's kind of a flat there, right? So, you know, there's the context if you want to look way back, but if you want to go a little bit closer, that wedge becomes that. It's really that simple as far as understanding context. Okay, now it takes a trained eye. I'm not trying to say, oh, it's so easy. On day one, you should get it. Because I've been looking at charts for like a long time. I've watched 95% of bars for a really long time. So I get it. Like, it's not that simple. But the more charts you watch, the easier it gets. That's why kind of an unfair thing in trading, and isn't this how life always goes, is the longer you do this, and the better you're doing, the easier it is to like get the information or get the thing or get the winning trades. Find them, right? Because you know exactly what to look for. It takes less brain power to find them or to figure it out. You look at a chart and instead of staring at it like they're, you know, hieroglyphics, you look at it and you're like, yep, I know exactly what's going on instantly. I don't even need to draw the thing because I'm just sitting here chilling. I don't even need to draw it. I know what's going on. In the early days that you can't do that. You have to watch more charts. Screen time is really, really important. Screen time, trade small, try to understand and do logical things. I mean, this is the entirety of what RAM is. Let's do logical things with discretionary decision making that gets easier the more screen time you put in, right? And eventually it just becomes second nature to the point where you sit down, you look at the chart, you're like, I have a pretty good idea of what's going on. Not to say that you're going to instantly know what to do and you're going to be right every time. That's total bullshit. 100% no. That's not the business model. Is the casino right every time? Of course not. They're right just slightly more than they need to be, depending on the game, right? Depending on what their edge is on each individual game, but it's built into the game. They're wrong all the time. Have you seen Vegas lately? Pretty nice strip. They've got a whole lot going on, right? This is not about winning every time. This is just about having a small statistical edge that you exploit the living shit out of. Now, a lot of people say that I just hate losing too much. I'm too competitive. I can't lose trades. This isn't for you. Apparently, you're not competitive enough to lose and still keep going, knowing that losing is a part of winning. Because you know that if you want to win, you're going to have to lose pretty often. So if you can't take one losing trade without crying like a bitch, you're not competitive enough. You think you're like, oh, I'm Mr. Competitive. I'm team sports. We have to be undefeated. It's like, no, you're not as competitive as you think, big dog. Mr. Big Shot, because you don't really want to win because you can't lose. You can't handle losing to the point where you quit. Pussy, right? Like straight up, I want you to do this. Like this, we need more successful retail traders so the reputation of trading is not as dog shit as it currently is. All right, 30 seconds. Best time of the day. There it is, opening bell. All right, let these institutional orders clear. They are going to rebalance for 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 minutes, 3 hours, 7 days, completely random rebalancing, and there is no edge, at least for me, in trading the rebalancing that is made up mostly of volume of people who and institutions who don't really care about today necessarily. They're just like, yeah, we're, you know, I don't know, we're slightly above 25,000. That's good. Let's rebalance here. They don't care if it's 25,340 or 25,305. They're like, no, this is a good price. Let's rebalance, because they're doing something different than we are. So let them get those orders out of the way for at least 2 bars is kind of my rule. 10 minutes or so, and then the volume is what we need it to be. Good to have you, Brian. Love to hear that you're green, big dog. All right, Bears. Trying to take it lower here. Bulls buying it up. There we go, Bears. Drop out the bottom. Now this first direction push, remember. I know it looks tempting. I know it looks tempting to do both things. You're like, man, this closes as a big bear body. I should probably get short, right? And then a lot of you guys are looking at this, you're like, man, I can't go much further. I should buy that. I don't know. Maybe. To both of them. That first initial push off the opening bell in the first 5, 10, 15 minutes, whether or not it's the right direction, if it's going to pick a direction anyway, is a coin flip. And then, of course, you have to bake in the probability that it just turns into a big trading range. So don't get tricked by that first push. It doesn't, and not to say that you should fade the first push. I'm just saying that it's not definitive enough to really do anything. Now, a great setup is if you get 2 or 3 big bear bodies here that are kind of sloppy so they don't put a short, and then all of a sudden you get 2 bull bodies curling back up, or vice versa. That's a cool setup. Because it's like, okay, the market tried one way, now we have confirmation of a reversal attempt. Let's take that. Risk the signal bar. I mean, I'll tell you one thing. If you don't want to be stressed out, trade RAM. The decision making, once you kind of know what you're doing and your discretionary decision making is good enough, the decision making is pretty fucking simple. It's really not stressful to make decisions. Now, you're still taking trades, so if you're newer, there's going to be some stress there, sure. But it's not going to be like, I'm pissed because I lost and I probably shouldn't have done that thing. No, it's like, okay, I lost, but I would do the thing again tomorrow because I made the right call, because the decision making is really easy, and I know that if I took that same trade 1,000 times, I'd make money. And being as stressed out, as calm and as least stressed out as possible is just as important, I think, as long term at least, as making money. Because if you're making money but you're super stressed out, you're gonna hate your life. And at that point, it's like, what was the point in becoming a trader? That's not why you wanted to do this. And I'll tell you one thing, I'm not the kind of guy that's like, kumbaya, let's make a little bit of money, just scrape by. Man, we might have to budget for groceries here and there, but it's like, let's just be peaceful at the screen. No, fuck that. Life is super expensive. Okay, just on principle, you're here to make as much money as humanly possible. That's not greed, by the way. Don't mess that up. That is not greed. Greed is, I want to make my pile of money bigger and then stash it away so no one else can have it. That's greed. That's some evil, weird shit. But making a lot of money so that you can have a big flow that goes through you and your family, a lot comes in and a lot goes out. You go out to dinner, you give the waitress the biggest tip she's ever seen in her life. You're giving because, you know, I mean, in a way, giving is kind of selfish because it makes you feel good, but of course it's not. You're redistributing. You found a way to have massive leverage in the world. You're able to make a lot of money. And you're giving that leverage to people who haven't quite figured that out yet, or choose not to, or had kids young and never had the opportunity to, you know, that kind of thing. And you know, provide for your family. That's not greed, dog. If that's greed, then like you and I just look at life differently. Greed to me is the guy who lives, you know, who doesn't have a family and is 82 years old and spent his whole life trying to make this big pile of money bigger, and he can stash it away and get off on this weird fact that no one else can have it. That's greed, and that's fucking some evil, weird stuff. That's weird. The other thing, no, not at all. That's playing the game to the best of your ability and providing. And creating a flow wherever you live and for your family. All right, we're 2 minutes out here until the close of bar number 2, which puts us 10 minutes deep on the open. Will put us 10 minutes deep on the open. All right, Bears. Big old push lower. Let's see here. Minute 5 out. Wow, you know, these bars, they're not very big, are they? ATR sitting 15.5. All right, well, let's see. Let's see if this range expands a bit. New 5-minute bar. This is number 3 of the day here. The close of this will mark 8:45, which is completely free and clear. We can do whatever we want at that point. Institutional orders are gone basically by now. But of course, that last bar was an inside bar, so there's nothing for us to do. So we'll watch this next bar here and see. Do we get something to do here? ATR under 15. All right, cool. Let's see. If we get a nice clean bear closer within reason, by the way, that's a stop limit sell short for me. So 4 minutes, we'll find out. Hey, Eric. Good morning. Good to see you. Gaines, what's up, big dog? How we doing? You know, I know these bars look big, but they're actually very reasonable. Range on this bar here thus far, we're looking at, 25 points. That's pretty reasonable. Even if that grows to maybe 30, 35, I'm still cool with that. But I don't want it to grow, past like 50. That starts making the risk profile a little weird. All right, just under about 30. Low 30s on the range. It's all right. Okay, there's 35, 36 on the range, getting bigger, 37. Calm down, bears! Man, I like the attitude here out of the bears. It's what we need, but man, work with me here. Range 42. All right, halfway through this 5-minute bar, let's see what the range ends up like on this bar. 50 plus starts getting really, really tough to get short in case you just get a rejection. With an ATR of 18, this is the kind of thing that I would go deeper on, like in the live tomb trainings, but just because I think it's kind of nuanced and people might misunderstand what I'm about to say. But with a bar like this, if the range, again, we're 2 minutes out, so we have time. If the range ends up being like 57 and the ATR is still 18, we're only 3 bars into the day. So the ATR is expected to come up, but the ATR is still 18. The bars are not tremendously large, right? So if you're going to put on a signal bar's worth of risk, which is like, let's say this bar grew even more and then it ended up being 57, 63 points. You're putting on, 60, 65 points of risk. And the ATR is less than half of the risk. I'm not really into that. You know what I mean? When the ATR is 20 and the bar is 37, the ATR is more than 50% of the signal bar risk. I can make sense of that. But if ATR is 12 and the signal bar is 75, you know what I mean? We're not even close to halfway, dog. Like that's really hard to make sense of. I guess that's kind of how I think about it here. All right, 45 points are on the signal bar. Let's see how it closes up. Hey, Benjamin, how we doing? Good morning. All right, 15 seconds out. Bull's kind of trying to bounce it. Range on this bar getting, pretty big. 45 on the range. ATR is 18. Yeah, I imagine the Bull's probably, they're going to hold that up. Okay. So that's a big old wick anyway. That's fine. We'll go next bar here. Good. We needed a reset after that big push so that we can make sense of risk. if we end up putting on a short here. So let's see if the bears can. Now we might just reverse. Totally cool also. But if the bears can take out this wick low and close it somewhere down in this region with a reasonable bar, max, maybe double the current ATR of like 17.5, 18. So if this range can stay within like less than 40 points. Cool, let's see. All right, 3 minutes out. Alex, good morning. Good to see you, brother. How we doing? I guess the name Alex could go both ways. Good to see you. 250 out here. All right, if we get a nice, good bear close, gonna have to put that on as a short, but it's gotta stay. It's gotta stay within reason here. I see the bulls bringing that baby back up, at least trying to, huh? This is that kind of thing. So we have a lot of options here. Now, not immediately, but what this could turn into. This could turn into both a long setup and a short setup. It would really just take a bar or two. I mean, now if this thing fell off a cliff, we might be putting on a trade here in a minute 20. So I suppose we should head over to the execution screen and get ready. Now, if this turns into a bull body, good. If we get a second bull body, push. That right there would be exactly what we talked about. I don't know, right around the open on this bar maybe. That might put me long like up here. We'll say, yeah, right into the 20 EMA. Yeah, right into the 20 EMA. It's early. I don't really care too much. But I can't do this bar because I'd want to risk the signal bar, which would be the next bar. $30 seconds. Good push, bulls. That is impressive. That's going to get volatility up. Very good to see. ATR here, 21. Get that ATR up into the 20s and keep it there, man. All right, Inside close out of the bulls, so everything relies on this next body. If the bulls can close this guy like up here, you bet your ass I'm getting long. But they got to do that. 4 minutes out, let's see. Canada, tips on handling being missed out by a point. Drives me insane. Had sell order. At 316. It's 342, 1 at 50 points. Well, I don't know what you're saying, but tips on handling being missed out by a point. It's going to happen. Statistically, it's going to happen a small percentage of the time. You deal with it like a grown-up. There's no way to fix it. Let me tell you something. Everyone tries to fix this early on, same as me. I did it too. We all did it. Everything that you've done, every mistake you've made, you're like, oh man, I got to be the first person to do that. No, I've done all of it. Maybe not all of it, but damn near all of it. Probably all of it. You're not alone in anything that you're doing that you're like, fuck, this isn't working. We all think relatively similarly, right? We're all wired kind of the same with nuance, right? So you start, you get missed by a point once and it pisses you off. So what you do is you start taking it a little early next time. And then you get missed by a point again, because statistically it's going to happen. So you start taking it a little earlier, right? And then you get close to your stop loss and you're like, I've been getting missed by a point on my take profits. Let me just move my stop loss down a little bit so it doesn't wick me out, because this thing's going higher. Let me give it a little more room. And then it doesn't. You end up being on the wrong side and it stops you out, right? Just don't go down either of those roads. I'm telling you, it's a losing battle. It's not going to work. We've all done it. You think you're being clever, same as I thought I was being clever, but it's like every other trader before you has done the same things, okay? What you're trying isn't special. You think you figured out, this amount of points on my just arbitrary trailing stop, this is the answer. No, it's been tried thousands of times before you. No. If you're going to trail yourself out with a stop, usually it ends up being a price action based trail like you guys see me do, which doesn't happen that often, but we've done before. This is simpler than you're making it. Do logical things. If you want to trade RAM, great. If not, trade your own thing. Doesn't matter to me as long as you're making money. Make decisions, and a lot of the things that you're like, how do I avoid this? The answer is you don't. You take it on the chin and mix it into your data, and eventually it doesn't matter that it happens because it looks good enough anyway. Yeah, Trev, and that's part of trading. Sometimes you can do everything perfect and it still doesn't work. Happens often. That's part of this game. Like, and by the way, we're 65 seconds out here from the close of this 5-minute bar. For all you guys out there, just for context of like, how long you've been at this, are you turning the corner? And you'll notice this also. One of the biggest dead giveaways that someone's newer to trading, dead giveaway every single time. And you'll be like, yeah, I used to be like this and now I'm not. Absolute dead giveaway that someone's newer in the first quarter of their career, well, really in the first minute of the first quarter of their career, is they act like losing one trade is like somehow a bad thing. Like they just win every trade, and if you lose one trade, you suck. Oh my God, you lost 3 in a row. You must be the worst trader ever. Dead giveaway. Every time. Everyone who's worth their salt at trading at all, anyone who's put in the reps, anyone who makes money consistently, knows that you're just full of shit. Knows that, you've been at this for 3 months, 6 months, 2 years and haven't really changed anything and hadn't made any progress. And I get it. We all thought that way. The first month, the first year, the first whatever, however long it takes you to grow out of that. It's just absolute dead giveaway. So if you're like, yeah, I moved on from that, good, that's progress. Now you're in the second quarter or the third. All right, we might have something here. Let's see. 4 minutes out. Let's see if the bears can take this a bit lower. Give us a nice clean close. Not a lot of clean closes. A whole lot of inside closes thus far. Canada says, I lose more than I win and still profitable for anyone that goes nuclear after an L. Yeah, so Canada, you're running some kind of multiple reward to risk, lower probability strategy. Very basic, absolutely is done often by winning traders. There are lots of traders out there who only win 30% of their trades and they make a lot of money because they're going for, you know, a pretty decent reward to risk. What does that do to probability? It lowers it. Doesn't mean you don't have any edge. It boggles my mind that people don't get this stuff. They say, oh, unless you're trading a 3-to-1 reward to risk strategy, you must be a losing trader. It's like, tell me you watched a YouTube video without telling me. Jesus Christ, come on. Yeah, Brandon, exactly. Exactly, that data gives you the confidence to not care about losing trades because you're like, okay, they're expenses. Losing trades are expenses. You want to be a big shipping mogul? You're going to have to buy really expensive tanker ships. Expenses, part of the game. Spending that money is part of winning to move stuff around the world and make $1 billion. In trading, to make a living, or a very more than a living for your family, having losing trades, ideas that don't work, are expenses. If you're too egotistical to understand that, I can't help you, like, straight up. Gotta love it, Joe. I'm trying to say that as much as possible today. Market's gonna give us some stuff here. Kind of slow getting around to it here, this market. Gotta love it, Joe. Alert! Good morning, big dog. Good to see you. Okay, so let's quickly just review the price action thus far. First bar, just an information bar. We need the information to, you know, this provides the context base of the morning, at least like for bar number 2, right? Bar number 2 here, inside closed, tried to push lower. Could have been a short setup for us. Wasn't. Pulled back and closed inside of the previous bar's wick low. Okay, next bar. Had my eye on this for a potential short. Wicked all the way down here. Bar started to get a little big. and then wicked back anyway and wasn't a setup anyway, kind of let us off the hook of having to make a decision based on the bar's volatility. But at the time, the range of the bar was far more than double what the ATR was, so it really wasn't there anyway. Wick locked in that it wasn't there. Next bar here, inside close, inside of that previous bar's wick high, nothing there. Look to the next bar, made a push, wicked back, turned into a big red body, inside close, nothing there. This bar here, inside close, big wick, absolutely nothing there. So now we're onto this bar. We're doing our job. Our job is to do nothing when there's nothing there, and if there's a whole bunch there, we do a whole bunch. So, you know, people ask, well, how many trades do you take a day? It depends. It totally depends on the market. You guys have seen me take 1 trade, and you guys have seen me take 12 in a day. You're like, how is that possible? Well, the market's really different every day. It totally depends. It depends on the security of either side, or the insecurity of both sides, I should say. If the market's really insecure, even if it's kind of moving one direction, like a soft bull or bear channel, you see a lot of inside bars. And when we're trading RAM, like the price action based RAM, if there's nothing there, it's not there. You know, if the market can't figure out what the hell to do, how are we supposed to? But those days are rare. Usually we're getting multiple. All right, so right now, I'm kind of thinking a couple of things. 2 consecutive bear bodies, growing, clean closes, especially on the second bear body, and of course, well beneath that previous bull bar's wick low. That would put me short. A nice curl out of the bulls with 2 to 3 consecutive bull bodies closing above this wick high, that would put me long, because that's also above the 20 EMA, and you would have a bull continuation sequence to look to take out the opening high of day. So, our decision making is very easy. We just sit, let it come, put it on. So ATR here so far on the 5-minute chart is 26, which is, not bad. Not bad, it's just we're seeing a lot of wicks so far. It'll clean up. 4.5 minutes. Big old doji close, man. On that last bar. Okay, interesting. So we'll go next bar here and see if the bulls can put in something half reasonable together, or the bears, of course. We have setups both directions. So whatever the market wants to do, as long as it puts in something clean, we're in. All right, guys, hey, I'm going to grab coffee, let this market figure this out back in 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back. We are a minute 40 out. Market's got to pick a direction. I would love for it to pick lower, but the longer it stays in this little sideways action with decreasing range on these bars, the more risk of just trading range. But with all these wicks, you know, there really just is no decision for me to make yet, which will change quickly here. It tends to do so most times. Vaz, Nico, how would you approach trading two 50K funded take profit trader accounts? So I would trade, depending on volatility, 3 to 5 micros per account just from the start. I personally, I'm not big on, like, once you have a take profit trader pro, I'm not big on just gambling until you get to the buffer. I prefer to just trade it normally and just be patient, take my time, and then typically you're going to get to the buffer if you do it that way. With 3 to 5 micros. For me, I don't want to set this hard rule because it's not a hard rule in my head, but rough rule, if ATR is like 30 plus, I may, you know, maybe I'll trade, or even like 25 plus, maybe I'll trade like 3 micros per account. If it's less than that, like less than 25 or 30, depending on the action and the size of the bars that we're actually trading, then maybe I'll go 4 or 5 micros per 50K take profit trader. And Apex, for that matter. You know, some about prop that I think a lot of you probably need to hear, and this is my experience. I know that initially when you get like a let's say like an Apex PA account, an Apex PA account, right? You're funded with Apex, for example. I know it feels like 8 days. That's so long, dude. No. If you just go in and you trade each day and you do your job and you leave, eventually you'll kind of forget about like the payout thing and you'll come back and be like, oh shit, I'm well above the buffer and today's my 8th day. I can request a payout tonight. Like, that's really how it tends to happen. Don't psych yourself out thinking like you need to get there quicker, because you can't, you know, you can't make 8 trading days go faster than it will. So just trade within reason. 3 to 5 micros is my personal opinion per 50K account with Apex, you know, or take profit trader, but in this case Apex, since they have the minimum trading days. And you'll get there. Just follow your rules, do your job, cut losers when you know you need to, signal bar or curl. Or, you know, furthest wick outside of the range within reason. Take your winners when it makes logical sense to do so. Half an ATR, a full ATR, 1R, 2R. And you're good. And I think if you're taking logical setups, like especially if you happen to be trading RAM, I think it'll serve you well. A lot of you know, even just a little bit of patience, I think would make a lot of you guys a lot richer. Like seriously, I'm not just gonna say, like really. A little bit more patience would make a lot of you guys a lot of money. That's correct. That's exactly right. Yes. Now, you, of course, have to follow the rules. You have to trade for the minimum. I assume you're talking Apex because you said PA. You have to trade for the minimum 8 days. You have to follow the 30% rules. Profit per your biggest day for that payout period. And then also intra trade, like unrealized drawdown in that account, the 30% rules. Stay within the guidelines. Do exactly what you said. And yes, then all of a sudden you're eligible to request payouts. And, you know, something also to think about, guys, is in the prop industry, rather than being pissed that you need 8 trading days to request a payout at Apex, I mean, the way that I think about it is like, this is for traders who have positive expected value. Man, you should be so grateful that these are even real. This is such an opportunity. You're telling me I can pay $30 for an eval, sometimes less, sometimes $17 for an eval. Pass it. If there's a deal running on the activation fee, pay $85 for lifetime activation, be in a funded account at Apex for $100, $200 tops, depending on the deal you joined at. And I can get to pay, I have the opportunity to take payouts basically forever until I blow the account. Are you kidding me? If you just trade within a reasonable size, 3 micros, 4 micros, 5 micros, 2 micros if you want to go small, and you follow your rules, you cut things when they need to be cut within reason, you take profit when it makes sense to do so, that's ridiculous. Be grateful that it's 8 days. Because everyone, you know, the reality is in this world, like, the fast way to create revenue, the fast way to create wealth is the slow way, right? I mean, that's what you hear from everybody. It's like, oh, that's boring. Well, it's kind of true. The slow way to make money in the prop industry is the 8-day payout period to get a payout. 8 trading days. A couple of weeks, not even. You should feel so incredibly grateful at this opportunity. We live in a moment in time when this is even a thing. That's how I feel about it. It's like 8 days? That's nothing. You just think about it that way, it reframes it greatly. Be grateful it's not fucking 8 months, 8 years, 8 weeks even. You kidding me? 8 days? Come on, man. Take profit trader, daily payouts. You kidding me? Yeah, you have to trade for 5 days in the test. Who cares? You're in a pro account, you get above the buffer, you can request money as much as you want. It's ridiculous. Like, this is insane. Okay, so we're coming into a very interesting area. Now, there is a risk of a trading range, but the market looks like, to me, like you could argue a trading range, but you could also argue kind of a soft bear channel. So we have kind of this, of course, doji, you know, sloppy, but larger than the previous bear body. If this bar could come down and close like down here, all of a sudden I'm putting out a stop limit sell and betting that we take this thing lower. Now, of course, the risk there is that we pop right back up into the trading range. If we do, I'll have risked the signal bar anyway. So we're minute 40 out. Let's find out if we can break the ice. All right, 20 seconds out. Let's see how the bulls close this baby up. Looking like an inside close here. Yeah, inside close, next bar. Three minutes, 50 seconds out. Beside you, who do you recommend as a trading mentor? It doesn't matter. Just pick somebody who you vibe with. Pick somebody who makes logical sense to you, who seems to make you better. At the end of the day, the best mentor you're going to have is going to be you. Someone to kind of light the path is helpful, obviously. Because when you start, you don't know what you don't know. So it doesn't have to be me. Pick whoever you vibe most with and whoever makes the most logical sense to you. That's who you're going to learn the most from. If you're trying to follow someone because their videos are dope, but they talk about trading and you're like, I feel like this doesn't make sense to me. That's not your spot. That's okay. They're for somebody else. Find someone who, when they talk about trading, you're like, wow, yeah, that makes sense. I feel like that makes a lot of sense. I don't know. That's who you're going to learn the most from. That's who's going to make you the best. And they're not going to do it. You're going to do it, but they're just going to light the path. 220 out. All right, Bears, beautiful little push here. Come on, Bears, let's see. Let's see if we can get this moving here. Give us a nice clean close. A second consecutive bear body close. All of a sudden, we got a stop limit sell sitting on the chart, and we're looking to get short. All of a sudden, but we need the Bears to clean that up, make that happen for us. Minute 20 out here. All right, Bears, beauty, beauty, beauty. You know, even looking at a 2-minute chart, this is a 5-minute chart, but even just glancing at the 2-minute chart, a lot of inside closes on the 2-minute as well. A lot of wicks over on the 2. All right, decent close out of the bears. Now, this next bar here, the bar that we're currently on, 450 out. If we can get a nice clean close out of the bears, near the bar low, obviously beneath this wick low. Nice clean close would put me with a stop limit sell. Trying to put that baby to work to get short. Below the close of this bar. Let's see how we end up closing it up. Beautiful push, bears! Now, can they hold it is the big question. If they can hold it and it's nice and clean, we get a clean close, the bar doesn't grow to be some massive outsized bar, then all of a sudden we're finally breaking the ice here. Halfway through this 5-minute bar, things are starting to look good. A lot of you guys looking at this and you're like, man, if this bar closed near the low of this, of where we currently are, like right now, if we closed up, that is pretty close. Maybe not quite, but pretty close to a textbook RAM. But it's still a RAM setup. Just maybe not textbook. But it's pretty damn close, gotta tell you. Bears, come on now, hold it. Hold it. 90 seconds. All right, Bears. Getting close, getting close. Need to see you guys close this thing a little lower. But it's about time. We have something pretty clean here. Let's see if we get it. All right. 25 seconds out here. Copy trader. Engaged. Let's see. Let's see. Can the Bears close this baby down near the low of the bar? First reasonable setup according to Ram of the day. Gonna have to go ahead and get a stop limit sell ready. All right, beauty. Let's see. Place that guy there. Give that 30 seconds. See if we can get a fill. Come on, Bears. Take it down through. Give us a fill. 25 seconds. Beautiful. And we will suck stop up. Bring this guy in. All right. Now adjust the stop to where I actually want that thing, which is right there. Beautiful. Bring that lower here, Bears. ATR 24.6. Let's see if we can get that little fallout and do it to him. Breaking the ice here on the day. Let's see if it works for us. Bull's trying to bounce this baby back up. It's all right. See if the Bears can get it done. Keep bringing that thing, Bears. Keep bringing it. Keep bringing it. ATR here, 24.6. Bull's trying to bounce this baby. Let's see if they can. They take out the wick hive, our signal bar. Cut it, move on. But come on, Bears, take this baby. Now, what am I thinking as far as a profit take? For me on this trade, I'm thinking anywhere from 3/4 of an ATR, kind of at a minimum, to better than a full ATR, ideally. But we'll see what we get here. Bears had us in the money quickly and then hesitated. That's fine. That's fine. You can't expect every trade to work out instantly. But wouldn't it be nice? All right, Bears, let's get that confidence up and dump this bottom out, baby. Just take out that protective take profit order so I don't have to touch any buttons. Nice and lazy. Nah, 3/4 to an ATR minimum. Full ATR would be better. Let's see here. There you go, Bears. Keep that coming. Keep that coming, Bears. Good little start here. Lots of work to do. Keep that moving. Little breather here out of the Bears. Decent close out of the Bears. Okay, now, if the Bears take out this wick low here within the first 30 seconds of this bar, that could be an entry for me to the short side if I were flat, which means if they do that, then I move the stop right there. They've got 5 seconds to do it, and they're not going to do it. So according to Ram, no, I do not make any change whatsoever. This is all built to make the decision making as easy as humanly possible. Okay? For me. Which is the entire goal here. All right, Bears. Don't let the Bulls do that to us. Come on now. Bulls trying to bounce this baby. Let's see if the Bears can step back in, fade this thing. Take out that little low. And bring us down to about a full ATR here. I think I'm after a full ATR. There you go, Bears. Step in, take this baby for. Flip that baby red. There we go, Bears. Take out that little low. Push us to a full ATR. That's what I need to see here on this trade. Full ATR or nothing. Manage as we go. As far as if we need to move stops. Which is not looking incredibly likely, but bar by bar, as always. There we go, Bears. Drop that bottom out. Take it through. A little more confidence here. Let's keep that baby moving. ATR about 25 points. There we go. Keep that pushing. Give it time. Give it time. Gotta let it do what I need it to do here. That bottom fallout now, Bears. I guess Bulls we should talk to, huh? Minute 20 left on this 5-minute bar, by the way. There we go. Little hesitation, that's all right. Not interested in less than a full ATR here. All right, Bears, take the run at it. Do it to him! Keep that push in. Boom. Better than a full ATR. We got, I believe, 28.5 points with an ATR of 25, 26. Actually dipped to 24, so we got quite a bit better than a full ATR there on that trade. Beauty. $3,400. Next trade, moving on. Patience pays, ladies and gentlemen. Wait for it. Let it come to you, then hit it. Accept the outcome like a grown-up. SK, hey. Thanks, brother. Good to see you. All right. Roy, 73 points on the day. Great job, brother. Devout up 68 points on the day. Man, give us a few months, give us a year. And I gotta tell you, I think our stream, I think the tomb in general, I think we're gonna have just about the highest concentration of full-time traders on the internet. Straight up. Which is, that's something special. Man, a lot of you guys are really doing well. Fucking love to see it. So excited. All right, 55 seconds out here from the close of this 5-minute bar. Let's see what we end up here. Icon, good to have you, big man. All right, new 5-minute bar coming here. Hey, Jeffrey. Good to have you, brother. Love to see it. Yeah, I mean, listen, there's no magic to RAM. It just is logical, right? There's no voodoo magic here. We're just trading price action. And guess what? There's losing trades trading RAM, like every successful method ever. But it doesn't matter, because their cost of doing business and their expenses. I'm telling you, I think if you understand context, you put in a lot of screen time, your discretionary decision making improves over time, and you're trading some kind of price action strategy, whether it be RAM or something else. I don't care. I think it's going to treat you very well, and I think you're going to be surprised at the results. You're going to be like, holy shit. There was a part of me that kind of thought this was all a pipe dream. Nope, this is all very real. It's just really hard to figure out in the early days. And most people don't, which is why it feeds back into that reputation of it kind of being a pipe dream. No, this can be done. You just need to do logical things and be calm and disciplined and get through the losing streaks and not get too high on the winning streaks and just kind of do your job and leave. All right, 340. Let's see what we get. All right. So coming into about halfway through here, this 5-minute bar, Bull's trying to make a push. We do have to keep an eye on that 5-minute 20 EMA, that gold line up there. Just keep an eye on it for a self-fulfilling prophecy, because we basically spent the whole day beneath it, only tested it once, and immediately got wicked back. Hey, someone help out Dr. Zay here. Those of you guys who know, you know. All right, 45 seconds out. All right, roll over here on the 5-minute chart, shrinking bull body with a wick, which shows a lack of confidence, right, compared to the previous bar, which means we hold off, we chill, we wait for the next bar. And we'll see what we get. I am trading Take Profit Trader and Apex accounts. Two best props in the space right now, if you ask me. And a really good mix. Really good mix. Take Profit Trader, obviously you get the daily payouts. Tremendous, especially if you're trying to bootstrap going full time. Having money come in as often as possible is really important. And then when it's time to scale, make the numbers look bigger, Apex lets you go to 20 accounts. When it's time to scale, Apex is the move. When it's time to just try to make some kind of consistent money or living off of this, I think Take Profit Trader makes a lot of sense with daily payouts. That's the way I look at it. So mixing the two is a good round out. But if you have to start with one or the other, think about it that way. There you go, Bulls. Nice little push. 3 minutes out. Jerry, lifetime activation fee right now, $85 across the board. By the way, that Apex deal, 80% off, 1 day to pass. You don't have to, meaning you don't have to pass in 1 day, but you can is what that means. So 80% off, single day pass, and $85 lifetime activation fees on across the board on all account sizes. That ends on the 16th. Code BIG, B-I-G, go hit that up. Really, really good deal at Apex right now. All right, minute 20 out here. We're coming right into the 20 EMA here on the 5. Which, when you see the context like this on the day, where we really haven't tested it since the opening bar, we made one test, pulled back, that right there is going to have some kind of self-fulfilling prophecy effect. I really cannot overstate how little I personally give a shit about the 20 EMA, but it's a popular indicator on a popular time frame, and it does tend to have a self-fulfilling prophecy effect if we have not tested it much throughout the day. If it's been back and forth over the thing all day, it starts to lose its value. We're seeing it too often, right? People start to look toward other price action things. But if we have a good continuation setup right into the 20 in a situation like this where we've tested it once all day and just wicked immediately back, I think it's there, and I think people are going to look at it. I think bulls are going to lose a little confidence seeing it, and bears are going to gain a little confidence seeing it, which can cause me to not take the trade. Depending where we close up, of course. In this context, probably going to need at least one more bar. Forgotten Trader activated 20 today with code BIG. Awesome, brother. Good work. right, bulls. Good little push here. Let's see if we can get a nice, reasonable close out of the bulls. Above, ideally, more is better. Above that 20 EMA, nice clean bull close. All of a sudden, we're getting along with the stop limit buy. Let's see if we can get that. It's got to be pretty good close though. Let's see. 4 minutes out. All right, 3 minutes here. Come on, bulls. Don't get insecure on us now. Let's see what we can get out of the bulls. Yep. VWAP, volume weighted average price, also a big old self-fulfilling prophecy to watch. Just pick one. Just pick one. I know it sounds like it's like, just pick one. Like, what do you mean just pick one? I've never heard someone talk like that. Listen, just pick one. It doesn't matter. They both get watched, but it's not going to change your trading, whether you use volume weighted average price or the 20 EMA on futures, okay? Now, that changes a little bit when we're talking like a really human stock, like a small cap momentum stock where everyone's watching volume weighted average price. Of course I use VWAP on that. But like on the Nasdaq, I think price action is king. The indicators really do nothing for me at all except give me kind of context of where we sit, keep me from getting dizzy. You know, we keep one line on the chart, just kind of, I don't know, looks right to me. And it might stop me in a setup like this. We never actually got the setup, but it had this closed up here. Normally, I might get long on this. You know, I'll wait for one more bar because, you know, I think the bears are going to get some confidence. But listen, if you want to use VWAP, use VWAP. You want to use a 20 EMA, use a 20. You want to use a 10 EMA, use a 10. Just use something that's really popular. Roll with it. It's not going to make or break you. What's going to make or break you is the discipline and your price action setups. And your patience. And context. Discretionary decision making, right? The big pillars. Not which indicator you use. Which I know goes against the grain of what everyone else has taught you. This is what works for me. That's all I can speak on. If it works for me, I think it will work for you. $30 seconds. $10 seconds here. Looks like we're probably going to get a big old inside close. Big wick on that bull body. So we go next spar, 5 minutes. All right, guys. Hey, I'll be right back. Quick break. Don't go anywhere. Hey, make sure you like the stream so we can do some giveaways here in a little while. Apex accounts, Take Profit Trader accounts. Let's do it. If you haven't yet, hit like. Let's have some fun. Be right back. All right, welcome back. So a lot of inside closes, so we did not miss a thing. Let's keep doing our job here. All right, bulls. Like to see that. Let's put in a nice clean bull body, get a second nice clean bull body, and we're slapping a stop limit buy for a reversal upside. Bulls they've got some work to do before they sell me on that though. Let's see. 340 out here. All right, chat check-in time. You know it was coming. How are we doing today? Feel free to share if you don't have to, of course. It's really no one's business but your own, but let's hear it. Let's hear it if you're into it. Today's one of those days. I mean, me reviewing today, looking at every single bar. Stealth, green 26 points. Love to hear it. Good work. Reviewing today so far. And I like to do this every hour or two throughout the day. To see, you know, have I missed anything? For me, the answer is absolutely not. The only trade of the day was shorting with a stop limit sell right beneath this close into this open. And that's exactly what we did for 28.5 points. So we hit the one clean trade so far of the day. Now again, a little light. This whole week has been a little light on trade volume, but the result has been pretty good. Ben up 260. Caden up 30 points. Very good. Taz green 36 points. Jeffrey green 25 points. Roy up 80 points. Peter small red. That's all right. Hang in there. Don't worry about that. You traded your plan, there's no big deal. Whole bunch of green. Javaz green 60 points. Good work, guys. Good work. I see a pretty high level of consistency here in the chat each day, which is very good to see, particularly out of the regulars, which I don't think is a coincidence. Very proud. You guys are doing very well. Love to see it. All right, big old doji close there, so we go next bar here. All right, 4.5 minutes out. Let's see here. So we have the first bear body after a 5 consecutive bull body sequence and a small doji. So if we can get a nice medium to large size bear body, I would put a stop limit sellout but beneath that close here in 4 minutes, 10 seconds. So let's see how that closes up. By the way, guys, today is day 2 of taking on the founding members inside of the tomb. If you're like, yeah, I like watching you do it every day, but I want to go deeper on RAM. That's how you do it. Go join up. Fucking cool place already. We got people in there already fucking winning. And that first part of it is the live, of course, private live trainings. So we'll do live sessions here on YouTube for tomb members only every week. We'll do a deep training on a pillar or a particular setup or a particular psychological hurdle. And then we'll do live Q&A with that, going deep on RAM. That is less than a week away for that first live. All right, Deeps, good question here. Has RAM shown success in overnights? Yes, if I trade the overnight session, I trade the same way. The nuance, Deeps, to RAM in the overnight session during Asia session is that continuation trades, you gotta be a little more careful because markets tend not to go very far more often in tighter markets. So you gotta be a little more careful taking continuation trades. But that's the same during the day because you just have to understand that overnight you're in a range more often than you are during the New York session. So it's kind of the same thing as during the day. It's just you got to kind of understand that nuance of it. All right, 90 seconds. Yeah, Treff, weekly for 2 members. The link goes out. Okay, let's see here. We got 55 seconds. Let's see. We may have a setup here to take. All right, let's get ready. All right, 20 seconds out. Copy trader engaged. If we get a nice, clean, bear close, then I got to take this guy, which is a stop limit sell. Go up here, place that guy. Bulls, don't you bounce that. Keep that wick small. Wick is a little sizable. We'll give that 15 seconds. 15 seconds. That wick downgraded that setup slightly, so to make up for the downgrade, got to see quicker resolution. If we do not get a fill here in the next few seconds, got to pull it, go next bar. There is 15 seconds, no fill, no trade. Next bar. See how straightforward the decision making is? That's on purpose. I don't like being stressed out while I trade. And I think it's rather apparent that I'm not. You keep the decision making easy, you like life a lot better, and you make more money. Being a stressed out trader sucks. You've probably been that. I certainly have been that. It's not fun. It's not why we became traders. That's not the point. It's alright, Joe. Not everything has to be RAM if you want to drop an idea. Not going to be crazy about it. If you have an idea, man, drop it in the chat. Alright, so let's see here. We may have a stop hunt on our hands, which is a personal favorite of mine, as you guys know. Let's see. Can we get this bear body growing a bit? Get that baby closing nice and low. Heading into that low that has existed now for, I don't know, 45 minutes or so. It is a low a day, and we know that some bull stops. Swing traders, mostly, who got long on this move higher, have a lot of their stops down here. So we can use that as liquidity if we get a bear close down in this region. And that is the idea. So let's see if the bears can get a little more confidence here in the next 2 minutes. Give us a nice clean close down here, in which case I'll put out a stop limit sell. Good short. Very stress-free, very simple decision making, which is how we like it. There we go, bears. There we go, bears. "20 seconds out." Gonna go ahead and get the copy trader engaged. Need the bears to take this baby quite a bit lower and give us a nice clean close, in which case we can look to hunt some stops down there at the low of day. So bears have work to do here in the next 5 seconds, but let's just get ready. I don't want to miss anything. Yeah, I'll give it 15 seconds because it's a shrinking bear body, but it is an outside close. Okay, so it only deserves 15 seconds because it's a shrinking bear body. If we can get a fill here in the next 5 seconds, good. If not, we pull it. No fill, no trade, go next bar. No fill, no trade, next bar. Yep, Max will be giving away accounts. I'm not sure where we sit as far as the goal, but just like the stream, get us to the goal, and we'll give away some accounts here. Whoever wins, by the way, gets a little option. Double or nothing, baby. All right, halfway through this 5-minute bar. Again, hey, stop hunting still on the table. Absolutely, 100%. Can we get a nice, decent bear body? 2 minutes, 20 seconds is a lot of time here for the bears to fix this bar up. And let's see if they can. Minute 25. There you go, Bears. Keep that attitude up. You like to see that, Bears, but now keep that guy moving. Let's see if we can stop hunt. All right, you guys ready? Here we go. 30 seconds out, which means copy trader. Engage. There we go, Bears. Now hold that there, Bears. Calm down. Calm down. Do not. Oh, don't you dare take out that low before I get a fill. Don't you do it, Bears. Yeah. You calm right down here. Let me get my stop limit sell. Ready? I don't want to put it out too early in case we do pop through and then give me a fill I don't want. All right. Plop that guy down. Give that 20 seconds because we do have a little bit of a wick, so I'm going to drop it right between the 15 and 30 second. 20 seconds to get a fill, and we will suck that guy up right where I want it. And let's see if we can take out some of those stops. ATR 23.6. And we will manage bar by bar if needed. There are some stops down there at curl of day. That is also the low of day. Those are a bunch of bull stops from swing trader bulls who got long on this push higher. Let's see if we can take those out, use them as some liquidity for a push. About 2/3 to 3/4 of an ATR is kind of my minimum here that I would like to see. And if the bulls bounce this up, take out that wick high of the signal body, then that's fine. We'll cut that guy and move on. But I came out the den. I want to hunt some stops. Stops are on the menu here today. Let's see if we can get our kill and go back and hibernate for the day. Oh, you bears! Okay, bulls. We'll let you have a little bit of an attempt back. That's all right. That's it, Bears. Step back in, fade this baby. Those bulls trying to protect their stop losses. I don't know, bulls. Do they have it in them? Alright, let's see. Can the bulls get cocky enough to take out that wick high? If they can, our server side stop will have to do its job. You cocky little bulls. Cocky guys. All right, halfway through this 5-minute bar, by the way. 2 minutes, 30 seconds out. There's no management for me here because it's a single signal bar risk. So we let this thing work, see if we can head back down lower, see if the bears can step in. Yeah, if the bulls pop it through, we'll just cut that guy, move on. Let's see here. Yeah, those bulls, I mean, they're trying to protect their stops. Ain't over till it's over. But even if we get stopped here, those stops are still down there. Still could be on the menu. Let's see here. Alright, we'll cut it there. Let's move on here. That's interesting. Quite the reversal. Bulls trying to protect those stops. I think those eventually get taken out. But let's see. Let's see if we get another setup here. Alright, minute 20 out here from the close of this 5-minute bar. Probably no setup here on this body. Alright. Update the trade count. That was number 2. And let's see what we get. $30 seconds. Does this end up as a little inside close? I think it might. Let's see. Alright, big old inside close there out of the bulls. That's some insecurity. Not a setup, but that's an insecurity. The bulls have exposed themselves a little bit. Now, we got so close to testing those stops that for us to get a setup to try to hunt them would require the market to kind of thread the needle for us. So let's see if it can. Alright, you bears. Yeah, these little back and forth sequences, these require a little more definitive movement. All right, halfway through this 5-minute bar here, 2.5 minutes out. The bull's really trying to protect those stops, trying to form a little double bottom here. I don't know, man. I think the bears want to see that baby get hunted. It's just a matter of how can we position ourselves in a way that makes logical sense, according to Ram, and there's not really... Again, the market would have to thread the needle, so, I mean, I guess let's see if it can. 2 minutes till the close of this body. Let's see if it remains a bear body. All right, 55 seconds out. To learn the strategy, yeah, if you need to learn for free, you can watch me do it every day here for free, obviously. But the best way to expedite it, if you want to just pull the big lever, is to do this and then also join the tomb. That's going to be the best way. But you have options, of course, to just learn for free if you just want to watch. Biblical 1,203 fundeds today, and Apex payout approved today. Code big, baby. Let's go. Good work, Biblical. Love to see it. Fucking right. Love to see it. All right, about 3 minutes left here on this 5-minute bar. Bears, you know you want to try to hunt those stops down near the low. Now, sometimes what happens when we're hunting stops, you can see a lot of times it works. Every once in a while, you get something like this, where the side with the stops is able to kind of protect them for a little while, but then you end up with the situation where you're kind of close, a few points. And even though it's not unlikely at all that gets tested again and breaks to some degree, it starts to get hard to position yourself for the break. That first attempt is typically going to be the best setup to try to hunt the stops. It's going to have the highest probability of success. Once you start looking like this, you kind of have to thread the needle. And even then, it's a little bit harder to manage risk. But it's not off the table. 220 out. $60 seconds. Bulls half decent pop. Let's see what you got. Let's see what you got here on this next bar. First of all, can you close it up half reasonably on this bar? Not looking too bad, Bulls. Like to see that. Okay, now, if we can see another reasonably sized bull body with a clean close, all of a sudden I have a stop limit buy going out to get long. But we have some work to do out of the bulls for that to become a reality. 4 minutes out here. All right, Bulls. Gonna need to see you do a little better than that. Let's get a nice little pop going. And give us a respectable close here in the next 3 minutes. And then we've got a stop limit buy out. Let's see what we get. 215. All right, bulls. Now, you know, I don't need it to. But considering we have a bit of a risk, of course, there's always going to be some kind of look that is unfavorable for your trades, right? That's the nature of a two-sided market. There's always a risk of this. So if we can get a bull close above this wick high, that's tremendous. That's great. We got to think about that range. Got to think about that range, especially if we end up seeing a bull close like here. That's a really big shrinking bull body, and then I would hold off, wait for one more bar. 90 seconds out. There we go, bulls. All right, let's pop over to the execution screen. Gotta see a bit of a stronger move than that, preferably. I would love if we can get a close like up here. Inside is still all right. I would still step in front of that, even though there is a risk of a flat top there. I'd be okay stepping in front of it because risk is still smaller when you see, you know what I mean? But this is one of those situations where we still kind of have to thread the needle. I don't want the bar so small that it's a ridiculous shrinking bull body. But, you know, you can't have it so big that risk gets out of hand compared to the ATR. All right. 20 seconds out. Gonna go ahead and get the copy trader engaged. Let's see. Can the bulls give us a nice clean close like up in this region? Even up here would be great. And if they can, I'm going to put this stop limit buy to work. Plop that guy right there. Oh, nice, nice placement. And we will. So, risk on this trade ends up being very low stress. Very small. And good. See if we can get a bull push up outside of this range with that little half-decent continuation trade. Put that guy on, accept the outcome, move on. All right, bulls. Let's get to work here. ATR 23.5. All right, bulls, step in. Let's continue that little move. Now, of course, again, hey, the risk here is that this here just turns into a big old trading range with like the flat somewhere down here, the flat top somewhere up here. But again, I'm willing, that's a good enough setup for me. Be willing to step in front of that. There's always another side to every trade. Don't get fooled thinking that you're, 97% right. Market would implode if that was ever the case. Has to be two sides. Just looking for that little bit of edge over a big sample size. Law of large numbers. All right, bulls. ATR just under 24 here. We can get 2/3 of an ATR, I'd be happy. So let's see if we can get about 2/3 of an ATR. Keep that pushing, bulls! Still got some work to do. But half decent work here so far. Little hesitation here. It's all right. See if the bulls can reload and give us our 2/3 of an ATR. Gonna have to pop through that little wick high to the left. It's fine. All right. New 5-minute bar coming here in 5 seconds. All right, bulls, what you got? Small little bare body, obviously inside close. Nothing to do on that bar. What you got, bulls? All right, ATR just below 23 here. We'll struggle a little bit with what would be the flat little top region of this trading range if that becomes a thing, which is of course baked into the risk management from the entry point. right, you bulls, what we got? Let's take it through that little flat. Again, 2/3 or better of an ATR. Got my eye on. Depends what ATR is at the time. Currently 23 1/4. All right, inside close there out of the bulls. Not what you love to see, but similar to that bear close. Hey, I'll take a bull close over a bear close, even if it's inside. All right, bulls, what we got? Struggling around this little flat. It's all right, gotta let it do its thing. Put it on for a reason. No reason to pull it, so we leave it on. HR 21.3. Okay, so now again, the server side stop here. This is the trading range. That's the opposite side of us, or me currently, right? So this here was the setup. I like the setup. Now, if this trading range becomes a thing, the server side stop will manage our risk as it pulls back in. I'm just risking the signal body. Very easy to make that decision. All right, so let's clean this up. And see if the bulls can step in and do their job for us here. Let's see. Again, hey, you know, 2/3, 3/4 of an ATR. I'd love to see. 90 seconds out, by the way, till the close here of this 5-minute bar. All right, Bulls, take another little run here at this little flat. Let's pop this guy through. Let's see what you got. 15 seconds here till the close of this 5-minute bar. All right, big old doji close, wiki doji close. All right, ATR down to 21. Still above 20. That's still very good. Bears trying to see if they can backfill this full range, which is fine. They can. Our risk is managed. All right, 2 minutes out here till the close of this 5-minute bar. And ATR 21. All right, Bulls, let's pop this baby through. There we go. Keep that pushing, bulls. 90 seconds. All right, bulls, you've got some work to do. Minute 10 out. And minimum here, 2/3 of an ATR. $30 seconds here till we get a new bar. Doji. All right, now again, hey, server side stop, still just below the signal bar. That's where it will stay. Bulls are trying, they're just struggling a bit. The top of this, what could be range. Just chill out, you know? If there's no reason to manage the trade early, which for me, you guys know my management rules probably very well by now. There's no reason to do so. Gotta chill the fuck out. Let the trade work. Accept the outcome. You put it on for a reason, right? All right, you bulls, I've got some lunch to get to. Let's do our job so we can move on with our damn day. What you got, bulls? Take this baby up through. All right, 90 seconds here. Do we get a new 5-minute bar? All right, new bar here. That bear body, a little more confidence out of the bears. Still closing right at the wick low of the previous bar. Obviously inside this wick low. And let's see again, if they take out the wick low of our signal bar here, that's where I say a little too much confidence out of the bears to backfill that range. All right, they're going to try. Let's see if they can. Bull's trying to step in. Are the Bears going to make the decision here? Let's see. Pop that thing through, Bears. Give us some volatility to work with, man. ATR holding up. Look at these 5 bars. All right, cut that guy, move on. Listen, good setup, just didn't work. It's part of the game. All right, moving on here. Now, that trading range, to me, is looking a lot beefier now that that occurred. We have kind of two setups on both sides, right? So we got to keep an eye on that. All right, let's see. All right, we are past noon Eastern, going over here today. I'm off to lunch. Listen, guys, that was trade number 3. Let's update before we head out of here. I'm off to lunch, hey, 8 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. on the West Coast. Back, doing it all over again here tomorrow. Hey, this afternoon, if you're trading, which I anticipate many of you are, be patient, let it come to you. When it does, hit it hard, accept the outcome, and move on to the next, baby. All right, have a good afternoon, guys. I will see you tomorrow morning. Subscribe to the channel. See you soon. Bye-bye.